Well, hello. Welcome back to the Tower Journey. Today's video is going to have a slight update as to game progression, but the focus of today's video is going to be helping newer players complete Tier 1, giving some insights and tips that I learned along that journey to be able to complete the first tier, which is a great milestone to reach in this game, as it unlocks your first relic, your skin, and gets you a bunch of gems and stones as you're beginning the gameplay, which is super fun. So for my update, I'm 1.83 trillion coins lifetime earned since June 5th. You can see some of my waves that I've completed here. Mainly been farming Tier 10, Tier 7, and then during the night run, I'm doing a Tier 4 or Tier 5 run to just kind of let the gameplay play during the night. Turn on my auto perks, set up my cards the way I want it to, and just press start wave and go to sleep and wake up and spend the coins that have come in, which is always fun. And so some of the goals I hope to complete this week is I think I should be able to get close to seeing Tier 14 Wave 100 completed to unlock Tier 15. That'd be nice. And then I'm also going to just continue to work on farming Tier 10 and hoping to get to Wave 400 on Tier 12. That'd be a nice milestone to hit, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I'll go and claim my mission here. You can see that the level of the game that I'm at now, I'm making 30 million per mission, so there's 6 of those a day, so that's awesome. To be able to get those coins, that's 180 million coins a day just in completing missions, plus the gems and the shards, and they unlock the boxes, which is great. So let's chat about clearing Tier 1, what that would look like, some of the things to focus on as you go, and I'll talk about Workshop first because that's going to be the bulk of the game that you begin with as you're starting. So under your workshop, this is kind of a filled out workshop a little bit to a point. So you'll start off with being able to get your damage, and then you can upgrade to get your attack speed, critical chance, and factors, and attack range, and damage per meter, and you can unlock these as you go. But for the beginning of the game, you're going to want to have some emphasis on damage and attack speed, but the majority of your emphasis at the beginning of the game is actually going to be under your defense upgrade. I would say all the way up and through, really for most of the game, until Tier 12, defense is probably the more important stats to focus on, as they're going to be the things that are going to get you the furthest. The more hits you can take, the longer you can last, and the longer you can last means the more coins you earn. The more coins you earn, the more coins you can put into your workshop to be able to last longer in future runs. So under this tab, some things that are really important to focus on, especially for clearing Tier 1. A is going to be your health, your defense percentage, and your defense absolute. Your thorn damage is going to be useful as well, and I think defense absolute is the biggest focus for clearing Tier 1. Defense absolute works like this. Your enemy attacks, and let's say it has an attack of 1, and your defense absolute has a defense absolute of 1. That means it takes 1 whole hit point off of what your enemy does, and you receive no damage. You can see at this point with a card and a module, my current defense absolute is sitting at level 2200, and I can absorb 45 million damage without actually getting hit, which is really awesome. That helps you get really far in that first tier. The other important one is defense percent. The way that defense percent works is it takes that percent of damage off the enemy's attack. So in my case, I have a base defense percent of 66.5. So if an enemy was attacking me with 10 health, or 10 attack points, it would take 66.5% off of that 10, which would leave me with like 3.5 hit points dealt rather than the 10, and then my defense absolute works on top of that. So if my defense absolute was at 4 and it took off 66% from the 10, then I would essentially not be getting hit, even though my defense absolute isn't as high as the attack. So those two work in tandem together. And so it is important that when you're beginning this game, when you're trying to clear Tier 1, that you focus on getting your defense percent up as high as possible and your defense absolute as high as possible. At some point, the defense absolute is going to be too expensive for you to continue to put money into, or cash and coins into. So put that into health, put that into the damage at that point. And I would also encourage you to get the thorn damage. You don't need it to be up to 99%. I have a module, I'll show you those in a moment, which gets it over 100. But for the most part, as long as you get it to about 50%, that's going to be the best, right? You have 33% means it's going to take 3 hits to kill an enemy. 50% means 2, and anything above 50% is just always going to be 2 until you're able to find a module that gets it over 100%. So I would encourage you to get thorn damage to 50% and then focus on absolute defense, percentage, and health until the end of your run. Once you finish your run, regardless of how far you got, take your coins and spend them on those workshop things, as well as some of your utility upgrades, cash bonuses, coins per kill, free attack upgrades, defense, and utility, and slowly begin to build out your workshop, but with a heavy focus on the defense absolute, defense plus, and health for the first tier for sure. Let's talk about some cards that are going to be useful as you do tier 1. So some of the useful ones when you start off will be your damage, attack speed, and health. Those will be useful things. Cash is useful to be able to increase the amount of cash you have per round. Coins just increase your coin count. So the main currency that you're chasing throughout this entire game is coins. The more coins you earn, the more you can do at the end of your run. And so anytime you have a coin-based focus or an economy-based focus is going to help overall. Down into this third row of cards, this is where things get fun. Your extra defense increases the amount of the percentage of the defense that's taken off the enemy attack. So that's a good card to use when you're doing a deep tier 1 run. Fortress multiplies your defense absolute. So this is also a necessary card for completing tier 1. And then enemy balance is a useful card in many circumstances. I have it on almost all the time. And essentially it increases the number of enemies by 1.3 up to 1.9 times. And the purpose of that is you might think more enemies mean more hits against you. And that's absolutely true. But more enemies also mean more enemies killed means more coins that I gain per run, because you're killing enemies, you get coins, you kill the enemy, you get the cash. And so more enemies also mean that you have a increased economy, even though you might not last as long in the game. I would argue that those greater amounts of cash that you earn because of the extra enemies allows you to buy more upgrades that does actually offset how much sooner you might die if you use enemy balance, and I think it actually helps your runs quite a bit. Critical Chance is a nice card, and otherwise, I think for the most part, if you have access to some of these bigger cards at your stage of the game, that's great. Second Wind is awesome to be able to just have an extra life once things have gone. And then Wave Accelerator is really nice because Wave Accelerator allows you to just move through the tier faster. Let's be serious. A tier 1 run trying to clear the 4,500 wave milestone is going to take you like 8-9 hours of gameplay. So if you put on the Wave Accelerator, that's going to help significantly. You can see that mine's currently at a 42% reduced cooldown in between waves. And that's when I'm really excited to see maxed out, because that's just going to make the gameplay a little bit faster, which means I can get a little bit further in the same amount of time. So let's talk just about these common cards. What should you have? You should definitely have Fortress, Extra Defense, Enemy Balance. Additionally, depending on the number of card slots you have, I think doing a cash is valuable, doing a health is valuable, and then if you have the space for it, a damage and a coins is great. Those would be the cards that I'd kind of focus on there. So the next thing to kind of discuss is modules. You might be at this point in the game, you might not be. I had modules before I completed tier 1. And I didn't have these modules, but I'll just show you a glimpse of what modules can do. And please note, I'm very early in the module game. And so they're actually a lot more impressive than what I have. But the one that might be very useful to see is this Legendary Plus one that gives me tower health. And also one of my roles effects is the 100% defense absolute. So it doubles my defense absolute. Gives me 2 additional defense percentages and thorn damage as well. And we can re-roll those throughout. I'll show you what that looks like. You go to re-roll. Basically, you turn it all. Boom. And you just press the re-roll button and it brings up different things. I'm going to back out and I'm going to use my previous ones because I don't want to change them. These are the ones I want. But that modules are also a useful thing to have. I learned something recently that you only get unique effects when you buy modules. So you have to actually buy the module with the gems to be able to get the unique effects. You can't just earn them from your runs. So I do have 700 gems, so I am actually going to purchase a couple modules right now. So there's a pack of 10, got some rares, and we'll do another one. And we got another galaxy compressor. That's awesome. I think that allows me to upgrade my galaxy compressor, which is great. I'm going to confirm that merge right now. That's awesome. Very excited about that. Collecting a recovery package reduces the cooldown of all ultimate weapons by 10 seconds. That's excellent. And it also means I can continue to upgrade it all the way up to level 80 now, which is excellent. It gives me a 1.135 coin boost. So next, let's talk about labs. Labs are a very important part of the game. You're going to want to unlock your lab slots as quickly as you can, and then begin to feed in some specific labs. Coins per kill are useful. Lab speed is great. If you can unlock perks, that's excellent. Some of you might find that you are getting killed by the Vampire Elite. This Garlic Thorns is going to be a fantastic lab for you to do to minimize the amount or to maximize how quickly you can decimate the Garlic Thorn or the vampires with this Garlic Thorn lab. Otherwise, you're going to want to spend some time with Critical Factor, with some of your Defense Absolute. I would use that early in the game, but I wouldn't do it much past where I have it here at level 20, just because Defense Absolute really falls off the effective scale as soon as you hit Tier 3. Really even Tier 2, but Tier 3 it's really almost completely useless. Otherwise, probably not a ton of other. I would also, I guess, do the, you'd want to do the buy multiplier as well as the game speed. Those are important ones as well. Starting cash is not super important. I thought it would be at the beginning of the game, and I kind of regret doing the 18 levels I did, but it is what it is, so take it or leave it. So moving back into the home screen here, the last thing that I would kind of discuss for clearing tier 1 waves, always assess where you're getting stuck. Is it a boss that's killing me? Is it elites? Is it fast? Is it whatever? And if you can get the target priority lab, then you can target certain ones. But otherwise, you're going to want to look at your perks. This is another great area that can help you with your run. So some perks that I think are really important for a long tier run would be perk wave requirement. That's always a great first perk to take because it means you get more perks more frequently. Some other ones that would be useful would be max health. Coins are always nice to pursue. Moving down the list here, defense percent is really important, and same with absolute defense, and then increasing or unlocking an ultimate weapon. Those things are going to help. The other ones that I would suggest taking more often than not is the 50 enemy damage, but tower damage is 50-50. Let me just scroll down to that so you see what it looks like. I have a few upgrades, so it says enemy damage 52.5, but tower damage 50. That one I would definitely take because it minimizes the amount of damage your enemy does, which means your defense absolute goes further. And then I would try to avoid ones that really decimate your tower's health or maximize your enemy's attack. So things like ranged attack distance reduced, but ranged enemies have a 3 times damage. Don't take that perk. That's an awful perk. You'll kind of find some of the perks that work for you. And I really, it took me a long time to warm up to this one trade-off perk. Mine says 1.89 coins, but Tower Max Health reduced by 70%. Yours will start off at 1.80 coins. But what I have found is that because the main currency of this game is coins, I always now aim to have the most amount of coins in a run. And so I'm not as concerned about the milestones that are in existence. I always take this perk as soon as I can, because eventually what I'll do is I'll earn enough coins to get me to a point where my tower is able to last all the way to wave 4500, even with that perk activated. And the activation of that perk gives me more coins, which is, for me at this point, as soon as I would say tier 1 is complete, more important than trying to get tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or whatever done on the milestone. Taking your ultimate weapon up perks is always nice, and then cash can be useful early. Same with the free upgrade chance, but they're not priorities unless you get some really awful ones, and you just need to take something to get rid of the perks that are an option there. So those are some of the perks I would take. And then, as I said, depending on which tiers you're working on, I tend to then take that trade-off perk for more coins, and I focus more on coins, and as I complete milestone, it's just a bonus. And I always then come to my workshop after my runs, and I purchase things in the areas of health, anything that's going to increase my health, and then things that are going to increase my attack after that. I always prioritize health over attack for the stage of game that I am currently in. So I think that those would be some useful things to focus on for you during the game. And so again, just a quick recap: focus on defense percentage, defense absolute, health, and attack. Those would be in the sequential order that I would focus on them during a tier 1 run. Get your thorns up to 50%, and then just put as much cash as you can into the defense absolute, the defense percentages, and once they're so expensive, begin to focus on health and attack. Take the 50-50 trade-off perk and any perk wave requirements perks, and then focus on health and attack, or defense absolute, defense percent, health, and attack in the perks as well. Under your cards, you're going to want things that increase those 4 items: defense absolute, defense percent, health, and attack. And if you have the slots for it, doing economy things like extra coins and or cash are also very useful. And every time you complete your run, take your earnings, spend it in the workshop, make that tower a little bit stronger, and you're going to be laughing. The last thing I'm going to do in today's video is I'm going to purchase some more cards. Here's a pack of 10. All I have left is the epics to get, so I got 10 epic cards. That's great. We can look down here, and I think last time I checked, I have about 13,000 gems left to spend to complete the epics, and then I can really focus on modules and unlocking all of the card slots, which will be good to do. And so with that, I think that is the bulk of today's video. Hopefully some of the things I've said will help you complete tier 1. Let me know in the comments where you're getting stuck on tier 1 and what's frequently killing you, and I'll take some time to just give some suggestions in the comment section about what might help you get past that plateau or that sticking point to see you complete the milestone on tier 1 and get that flux relic, which is great. Happy towering, and hope your tournament goes well as this upcoming event. Bye.